Okay, so let's talk about some stuff. Let's talk about the present, past, and the future. The past obviously affects the future, and the present obviously affects the future. Everything that's ever happened affects the future. Okay, something bad can happen, and that creates a ripple effect. Sometimes that ripple effect only affects certain people. Sometimes it affects a whole lot of people. When you have 3 million life insurance policies out on you, gangs and mobs and militias, the government involved, as well as a lot of media, it tends to affect a whole lot of people. In fact, it can affect the entire world. One thing leads to another, and all of it, surrounds me and my girls. And we didn't choose that. That was a choice that was made for us. But it's also what's called reality. Okay? Now, I have gone to the FBI in person and over the telephone. I've gone to the police in person and over the telephone. I was severely abused and by them. And I don't want to think about anything else right now. But here's a taste of what's called reality. Because they did not do the right thing any of the times that I went to them, we are smack dab in the middle of a disaster. So if anyone is to blame, it's really them. Any one of them had a decision to make and could have chosen to do the right thing at any given time. Because they did not, people died. And they continue to die every day because those who I had contact with, who knew what was going on, chose to not do the right thing. They chose to play God instead, but they're not God. So now other people's lives are ruined and destroyed because of them. Babies that should have been born won't be born. People that shouldn't have died have now probably died. And that has ruined a lot of people's future. A lot of people's future, including their own. They ruined their own future as well. They just don't realize that they have, but they did. So when you think about it, had any of them done the right thing, they could have preserved their future and the future of their lineage. But they didn't care enough to. And that's on them. That was a decision that they made for themselves. And there's a price to be paid for affecting the future and costing people their lives and trying to overthrow the government. And I guess that happens to be the price. But sadly, they're not the only ones that pay that price. Humanity pays that price also, because there could have been someone later on down the road that would have been part of their lineage that might have invented something great, that might have done something really good for humanity in general. And now that person will never exist because of what they chose to do or chose not to do. So, you have to think about these things when you're a parent and when you're making the decisions that you make. Or when you're Dave and you tell Ed not to show up at court, or tell other people not to do their jobs, and then they don't, and everyone's future's at stake. That was a decision he made to save his own hide, and because that decision was made to save his own hide, now we've lost a lot. And we'll continue to lose a lot every day that goes by. We lose more and more and more. And that's because people aren't doing the right thing. Instead, they think that they're God and they're playing God, but they're not God. And what they're doing is wrong. In fact, what they're doing is destroying the future for all of us. The reality is we won't have one at the rate they're going. And that's just the way it is. At the rate they're going, we won't have a future. It will be bleak. Have they go to jail, then we could save the future and we could have a bright and beautiful one. But that's up to you. All I can do is tell you the truth, and you either accept the truth and you deal with it and we move on, or going to get worse. And that's just called reality. It won't get better this way. The only way it's going to get better is to do the right thing. So some of you, that doesn't seem to affect you much. It doesn't seem to bother you. I don't know why that is. Somebody didn't teach you any morals or values. Nobody taught you right from wrong. I don't know why that is either. But it's reality. You are not